Naming ionic and covalent compounds. Ionic compounds are formed by a transfer of electrons from a metal to a nonmetal. Elements in the S and P block usually only form one type of ion, but in the D block they usually form more than one type of ion, and the different ions have different charges, which is important to know when naming compounds. Positive and negative charges cancel each other out in order to form neutral compounds with zero charge. When naming ionic compounds, elements in the S and P block have no change, and elements in the D block, you use parentheses and Roman numerals to show charge. And for cations, you add the "-ide" suffix to the end of the element name. A few examples are: write an ionic compound of lithium and sulfur, and it would be lithium 2 sulfur because lithium has a +1 charge and sulfur has a -2 charge, so you would need 2 lithium atoms for every sulfur atom. Name NaF, it would be sodium fluoride because sodium just stays the same, and then for fluorine you just add the "-ide" suffix onto the end of it. Name CuCl2, it would be copper 2 chloride because the chlorine has a -1 charge, and you can see that there's 2 of them, so you would know that the copper has to have a +2 charge. Write calcium phosphide. It would be calcium 3 phosphorus 2 because calcium has a +2 charge and phosphorus has a -3 charge. So for every 3 calcium atoms, you have to have 2 phosphorus atoms in order for the charges to cancel out. Name MgS. It would be magnesium sulfide because the magnesium just stays the same. And for sulfur, you add the "-ide" suffix to the end of it. Write nickel 2 oxide. It would be nickel oxide 2 because oxygen has a -2 charge. So I did that wrong. It would be, no, it's right. No, it would be nickel 4 oxide because oxygen has a +2 charge, and so since there's 2 of them, it would be, or a -2 charge. Oxygen has a -2 charge, and because there's 2 of them, that would be a -4 charge, so then the nickel would have to have a +4 charge to cancel it out. Covalent compounds are usually formed between 2 nonmetals, and they're formed by sharing electrons, as you can see in the picture. When naming covalent compounds, you use prefixes, and you use prefixes for the first element if it's anything but mono, and then you use prefixes for the second element no matter what prefix it will be. For example, name S2Cl2, it would be disulfur dichloride because there's 2 of them, so you use the di prefix. Write nitrogen trihydride, it would be NH3 because the nitrogen just stays the same, and then since there's 3 hydrogens, you add the tri prefix to hydrogen. Name N2O5, it would be dinitrogen pentoxide because there's 2 nitrogens, so you use the di prefix, and there's 5 oxygens, so you use the penta prefix, and since there would be a double vowel if you did pentaoxide, you drop the A in penta so that it's just pentoxide. And then name BCl3, it is boron trichloride because the boron name just stays the same, and there's 3 chlorines, so you add the tri prefix to that. And write dinitrogen trioxide, it is N2O3 because the di prefix shows that there's 2 nitrogens and the tri prefix shows that there's 3 oxygens.